Okay, today is Sunday, October 12th, and I just had a nice nap and waking up from that. And again, this is my YouTube only, uh, my YouTube only version of my blogs. I posted something else entirely, which I also posted here too on my Instagram or my social media. So I do want to just add to this playlist that I'm creating that what I said before is, and what I will say again, is that Alice is not a bad person. I am here just explaining my feelings about a situation. And so I don't want to make Alice out to be the villain. Number one. Number two is I was having an incredibly fun time with Alice. Like we're spending a ton of time together, and like I said, it just seemed like it changed. And then I was not having fun because I didn't like the combination of the things that I had been talking about, of like the ghosting and the snippiness and the last minute stuff. Now, that's what's also incredible, is that Alice was not this way all the time. And so it was like sometimes I would have great interactions with Alice and everything would be wonderful, and she would be back to the patient, kind, loving Alice. And then on top of that, Alice can be extremely helpful in wanting to do things for you, and she did a lot for me. And so that's what was also confusing, is like, okay, 1 minute Alice can plan ahead and all the things, and then the next minute it's like, okay, Nicole, I'm gonna make plans at the last minute and all the things. And so, like I said, it was confusing for me, and also hard for me to say something to Alice because the behavior was like up and down and inconsistent. But the more it got to the point of like, okay, I do not like how I feel in this situation, the more I started just pulling back, of like, I am not wanting to spend time with Alice because I don't know if she's going to be in the mood or what's going on. So anyway, that's it. I'll watch it back, see if I have anything to add, but I think I just wanted to come on and provide some clarity in the full picture of Alice. There's one version of Alice that I absolutely love to spend time with and all the things. And when Alice is that version, love it. But the other version of Alice is like, whoo, I don't know about that. So that's it. So, I didn't even listen to it back yet, what I recorded just now. But what I will say is, Nicole, so you can remember and not gaslight yourself and say that you're making things up, just remember June 14th when Alice came over with a stank ass attitude. And also remember, you can always go back to the screenshot of July 17th. That may have, in receiving the after message after you had just had a meeting, where Alice said that may have come out rude, and they clarified what they were trying to say. And I'm sure there are more examples that if you really needed to, you could go back to and remember. But the point is, Nicole, don't gaslight yourself and say it was a figment all of your imagination. You definitely, this is, I guess, my future self talking, or myself talking from my future self, and saying that, Nicole, this person was inconsistent. This person was up and down in their moods, and that you were not just making it up. You did experience mood changes and snippiness and smart remarks and criticism and all the things, and you didn't like it, and you decided to not spend as much time with this person for all the things that you're naming in this vlog. And there were times that you did try to say something in your own way of trying not to hurt the person's feelings. Wasn't working, so you pulled back and you moved on with your life, and there was nothing wrong with you making that decision. So just because this person is now maybe heard some of the stuff that you posted on your social media and they're trying to do better and change, it doesn't take away the fact that the pattern existed, and that you weren't making things up or being dramatic or selfish or spoiled. You were just taking care of yourself because the person was acting reckless and careless and not treating you in a way that they had been treating you mostly before. And also, future self talking to Nicole is to remind you June 1st what happened with that situation, so you can go back to your calendar and take a look at that, and any situation that also happened on or around, let me pull up the calendar, on or around June 27th, June 27th through June 30th is a good thing to go back to remember. Like I said, June 14th with the attitude was like, wow. And then let me pause here and see if I can think of any others. Oh, yeah, July 17th is another one. Pause. Oh, and then also, too, remember July 7th, July 6th, or was it July 7th, or was it July 14th? Yeah, it might have been July 7th, or July 6th. This person, Alice, had just come back from traveling, and once again, it was kind of like, oh, I'm back in town, yeah, I replied back, I think basically saying, okay, great, I'm out doing blah, 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 I'll talk to you later. And so then the next day when we were in a professional meeting, and they were trying to ask me all these questions, I was just kind of like, let's work on the professional stuff. I don't feel like having a personal conversation right now. And they got a straight attitude. It's just like, okay, just remember these things, Nicole, that you didn't just make it up and you didn't just pull back for no reason. And those are just a few examples for you to jog your memory when you go back and look at this journal years from now. So, Nicole, this is also a reminder from your future self, or whatever this is, still October 12th. Just a reminder also that the way you have been gaslit in the past by certain people and circumstances, well, people, let's say, is that when you do finally assert your boundary or assert that something you're not happy with, then they try to gaslight you and either call you crazy, selfish, spoiled. Those are all the tricks that they try to guilt you with. And then they start doing the after all I've done for you, you're ungrateful, those kinds of things. So those are all tricks in their trick bag, number one. Number two, then they also try to run down all the great things that they've done, and that you must be tripping because how come, you didn't say anything? That's another one. And so to all that, what I will say is that if Alice tries to come back and gaslight you in that way, what will be telling is that Alice is still trying to spend time with you in a different setting, and you, Nicole, have not tried to spend any non-essential time with Alice whatsoever. You have not done anything to spend any extra time with Alice, even though Alice has been I don't know. It's so complicated. But Nicole, just don't gaslight yourself. Your feelings are valid. They're important. And you didn't like how Alice was making you feel. So you pulled back. And so don't, just because Alice is now changing and showing the lack of snippiness and the kind behavior again, that does not mean that you just jump right back in and act like everything is hunky-dory. So we're going to pause, and we're going to make sure that it's safe to go back into that situation, and it's going to take a while. You and Alice were spending a ton of time together before things started changing this summer. And Nicole, you were making a lot of efforts to reach out and all the things and create plans and solidify plans and all that. And you stopped doing that a long, long time ago. And so you got fed up a long, long time ago. Today is October. And I'm talking about you got fed up a long time ago in the summer and stopped doing all of that. So don't gaslight yourself just because Alice is changing a little bit and acting nice now. Give it some time, give it some space, and we'll see how things go in the future. But yeah, the respect has to be consistent over time. So, take it slow, dip your toe in. You can still do, professionally, you still have to do things together, but you can do that and just see how the treatment is, and don't just jump back in because you want to smooth things over. So I've just had a nice little nap. I had a decent little lunch, and what I want to add to this video and this note to you, Nicole, is to remind you that you started vlogging on July 5th, and you have probably over 200 videos of different things that you've talked about. And you have continued to hold down a job. You've continued to professionally communicate with everyone, and you have continued to run 3 businesses through all of this. And so I say that to say that this person, Alice, who maybe now is coming back in October and trying to come back into your life and acting nice and everything, I would say number one is maybe Alice noticed that you did pull away and is now acting nicer, number one. And number two, if you finally have to have a conversation or discussion with Alice, or they stumble upon these YouTube videos someday or whatever and get mad and try to then make you the bad person, and make you out to be the bad person and make you wrong in all the things, just keep in mind and remember, and you can go back to your text messages in October and prove it. Just try to remember that this person tried to come back into your life after having a period of some distance. You did not do anything to try to be back in Alice's life. And so if you were so wrong and you were so bad and you were such a terrible person, why exactly would Alice be trying to reconnect with you? So, yeah, I mean, and I guess that this is the problem when maybe you don't have a conversation and have a two-way dialogue, but right now a two-way dialogue is not going to work for me. And so I'm also going to put in this playlist a wonderful video I just watched with Nedra Tawwab that I've been mentioning, talking about gaslighting and how she doesn't argue with people, and talking about gaslighting. And so, anyway, I think this is the conclusion of this love session series, but we'll see once I listen back to the whole thing, and we'll see about that. I guess I wasn't done. So, and if Alice also, and you, Nicole, went through your text messages with Alice, I call her Alex, you will see a humongous change and difference between how you were functioning before, let's say, July 5th, and maybe after. I don't know if July 5th was the time frame of when you kind of shifted your awareness, Nicole, but it was definitely July. There's a huge change in terms of your energy and how you were functioning with Alice. So, like I said, if Alice ever stumbles upon this, or you try to have a conversation with Alice, and all of a sudden she tries to say, well, you always, and you this, and you that, gaslighting you, you can always go back and go, well, wait a minute. Now, if I was always this and I was always that and such a bad person, why were you trying to reconnect with me and spend time with me and all the things? Like, why were you trying to do that? And if you're so good about having conversations and all those things, why didn't you tell me that I was doing something that was wrong? So don't even let anybody try to twist your head about it, Nicole. The bottom line is that you don't want to just hurry up and get back to quote unquote normal with Alice without ensuring that the kindness is not just, the current kindness is not just a reflex to what has been happening, and that it's sustained over a long period of time. And since there is has been no discussion or true apology of, well, I'll say that what happened on June 30th, I feel like I got a really true apology that was where Alice was acting very accountable and apologetic and has consistently corrected their behavior ever since then. And it was an admission of wrongdoing and all the things. And so I try not to hold that against Alice, but we'll have to see if there is a way for me to share my truth with Alice and maybe, share this playlist with her when the time is right and say, hey, before we have any type of reconciliation or conversation, first I'm going to need you to listen to this playlist, hear out my version and my side, even if we have to disagree, and then you really pause and you think about what I've said without having to go into defense mode of defending yourself. And now I'm saying it as if I'm saying it to Alice, but y'all know what I mean. But basically what I have experienced is people who are temperamental and emotionally reactive. And so that's where I learned to bottle up my feelings. And so even a perfect example is what happened on Monday, October 6th, when Alice basically cornered me into a verbal conversation, and then they had to go and defend their side and say all that they had to say to defend themselves. And that to me is not conducive to what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is express myself and say how I feel and how I experience a situation. And if you care, then you may care to listen in the way that I am able to express myself. And so we shall see. Stay tuned to this playlist and YouTube channel to see how everything unfolds with Alice. But right now, I'm definitely not ready to have any kind of confrontation or verbal discussion with Alice. And I'm also not ready to just start hanging out again like everything's fine, because it hasn't been fine. And I don't want to just gloss everything over and smooth everything over and pretend like nothing happened. So I think that's it now, but we'll see.